My name is Claire. I'm 31 years old, and until my sister's wedding day, I truly believed family meant unconditional love. Growing up, my younger sister Emily was always the golden child. Perfect grades, perfect smile, perfect life. And me? I was the backup daughter, the one expected to stay quiet, help everyone, and never complain. When Emily got engaged to a wealthy real estate developer named Ryan, my parents acted like she had just married into royalty. For 10 straight months, every family conversation became about the wedding. The flowers, the venue, the designer dress flown in from Italy. Meanwhile, I was the one paying Mom's medical bills after Dad lost his job. But nobody mentioned that part. Not once. Still, I showed up for everything. I helped address invitations. I organized bridal showers. I even spent 3 weekends hand-making decorations because Emily wanted the wedding to look luxury but intimate. Then came the rehearsal dinner. That's when I noticed something strange. Every bridesmaid had a personalized gift box at their seat. Except me. Emily looked directly at me and laughed. "Oh, relax, Claire. You're not technically part of the wedding party." The entire table chuckled softly. I forced a smile, pretending it didn't hurt. But deep down, something felt wrong. The next morning, I arrived early to the wedding venue wearing a navy blue dress I had saved 3 months to afford. The ballroom looked breathtaking. Crystal chandeliers, white roses everywhere. Live violin music floating through the air. For a second, I felt proud that my sister was happy. Until I found my seat. Table 17, not near my parents, not near family. A single metal folding chair, shoved beside the kitchen doors. Right next to the waiters carrying dirty dishes. At first, I honestly thought it was a mistake, so I politely walked over to the wedding coordinator. She checked the seating chart, then gave me an uncomfortable smile. "No, ma'am," she whispered. "The bride specifically requested this arrangement." I froze. The kitchen doors swung open behind me. Hot air and the smell of burnt garlic rushed past my face while guests nearby stared awkwardly. Then I heard heels clicking across the marble floor. "Emily." She walked toward me slowly, smiling like this was the funniest thing in the world. "You should actually be grateful," she said quietly. "At least I found space for you." I stared at her in shock. "Emily, I'm your sister." Her smile disappeared instantly. "You're the reason Dad couldn't contribute more money," she snapped. "You drain this family with your constant problems." My chest tightened, because the problems she meant were Mom's cancer treatments. Treatments I paid for. Not her, not Dad, me. But before I could say anything, Ryan's mother suddenly stood up from the VIP table. And what she said next made the entire wedding ballroom go silent. Ryan's mother slowly lowered her champagne glass. The music faded, conversations stopped. And in the middle of that luxurious ballroom, she looked directly at my sister. "Emily," she said coldly, "is this really where you seated Claire?" Emily's confident smile twitched. "It's just temporary." She laughed nervously. "We ran out of room." But Ryan's mother didn't sit back down. Instead, she walked toward me, toward the folding chair beside the kitchen. The entire room watched in silence as she gently touched my arm. "Sweetheart," she said softly, "is it true you paid for your mother's treatments?" My throat tightened. I nodded once. Emily rolled her eyes dramatically. "Oh my God, can we not do this today?" That's when Ryan finally stepped forward, confused, embarrassed. "Emily, what's going on?" Before she could answer, Ryan's mother pulled out her phone. And suddenly, everything changed. "You should all see this," she announced. My stomach dropped. Emily's face lost color instantly, because whatever was on that phone She already knew. Ryan's mother turned the screen toward him first. I watched his expression collapse in real time. Confusion, shock, disgust. "What the hell is this?" he whispered. Guests began murmuring around the ballroom. Emily rushed forward. "Ryan, don't—" But he stepped back from her, his voice louder now. "You told my family Claire never helped anyone. You said she refused to support your mother." I froze. Emily's eyes darted around the room desperately. Ryan looked at me again, then at the screen. "These are bank transfers," he said slowly. "Thousands of dollars. Every month." My father stood up suddenly. "Ryan, this isn't the time." "No," Ryan snapped. "I think this is exactly the time." The ballroom went dead silent. Ryan's mother turned toward the guests. "For the past year," she announced, "Claire has been secretly paying medical bills while this family spent hundreds of thousands on a wedding." People started whispering instantly. I saw bridesmaids exchange looks. Even the wedding staff had stopped moving. Emily's face turned bright red. "You're twisting everything!" she shouted. But Ryan wasn't listening anymore. He looked heartbroken. "Did you lie to me about all of this?" Emily grabbed his arm. "I only said those things because she always plays the victim." That sentence destroyed the room. Because right then, my mother slowly stood up from her chair, weak from chemotherapy, but standing. And with tears in her eyes, she said something nobody expected. "Claire saved my life." I covered my mouth instantly. My father looked down at the floor in shame. Mom's voice trembled. "She worked double shifts for me. She sold her jewelry for me. And all Emily cared about was this wedding." Emily panicked. "Mom, stop." "No," Mom cried. I stayed silent too long. The guests stared at my sister differently now. Not like a bride, like a stranger. Then Ryan asked the one question Emily couldn't answer. "If Claire paid for everything, where did the money I gave you for your mother actually go?" Emily stopped breathing for a second, and that's when everyone realized this wedding scandal was much bigger than a seating arrangement. The ballroom felt frozen. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. All eyes locked onto Emily. Ryan's question still hung in the air like a storm cloud. "Where did the money go?" Emily forced out a shaky laugh. "Ryan, seriously? You're interrogating me in front of everyone?" But he didn't blink. "How much did I send you for your future mother-in-law's treatments?" Emily crossed her arms defensively. "I don't remember." That answer alone told everyone the truth. Ryan pulled out his phone. "I do." His voice echoed through the ballroom. $78,000. Gasps spread across the room instantly. My father nearly stumbled back into his chair. Ryan looked sick. "My family trusted you," he said quietly. "I trusted you." Emily's perfect smile was gone now, replaced by panic. "You're overreacting," she snapped. "It all went toward wedding expenses anyway." The room exploded with whispers. Wedding expenses. Not medical bills. Not Mom. The wedding. Ryan stared at her like he didn't even recognize her anymore. "You used cancer money. For centerpieces and champagne?" Emily's voice rose sharply. "Oh, please. It's my wedding. Do you know how expensive this venue was?" And somehow... She still didn't realize she was destroying herself. Then the kitchen doors suddenly swung open behind me. A waiter accidentally dropped an entire tray of champagne glasses. Crash! The sound shattered across the ballroom. But nobody even turned around, because the real disaster was standing in a white wedding dress. Ryan slowly removed his engagement ring. The second Emily saw it, her face went pale. "Ryan," she whispered. "You humiliated the one person who actually cared about this family," he said. Emily grabbed his hand desperately. "Don't do this to me here." But he pulled away. "No," he replied coldly. "You already did this to yourself." I couldn't breathe. The room felt unreal. My own sister standing there, unraveling in front of hundreds of guests. Then Emily suddenly pointed at me. "This is your fault." People flinched. She marched toward me angrily. "You always wanted attention. You couldn't stand seeing me happy." I stood there silently while years of memories flashed through my mind. Every insult, every sacrifice, every moment I stayed quiet to keep peace in this family. And suddenly, I was tired. Tired of protecting people who never protected me. So for the first time in my life, I looked my sister directly in the eyes and said, "You're right, Emily." The ballroom went silent again. A small, victorious smile appeared on her face. Until I continued. "I should have stopped saving you a long time ago." Her expression collapsed instantly, because she knew exactly what I meant. The credit card debt I secretly paid off after her shopping addiction. The rent I covered when she lost her apartment. The lies I hid from Dad. Ryan stared at her in disbelief. "There's more?" Emily's breathing became uneven. "Claire," she whispered warningly. But I was done being afraid. So I reached into my purse, pulled out a thick envelope, and placed it directly into Ryan's hands. "What's this?" he asked carefully. I swallowed hard. Everything. And when he opened it, his entire face changed. Because inside were receipts, unpaid loans, hidden accounts, and one secret that could destroy Emily forever. Ryan's hands trembled as he flipped through the envelope. Page after page. Credit card statements, overdue loans, luxury purchases, all hidden, all paid for with lies. The ballroom was completely silent except for the soft rustling of paper. Then Ryan stopped at the final document, and his entire face went white. "What is this?" he whispered. I looked at Emily one last time, but she already knew, because buried at the bottom of that envelope was proof she had taken money from Ryan's parents' wedding account 3 weeks earlier. $40,000, transferred into a private account under her friend's name. Ryan looked sick. "You stole from my family?" Emily burst into tears instantly. "I was going to put it back." But nobody believed her anymore. Not after everything. Ryan's mother slowly sat down, covering her mouth in shock. My father looked like he had aged 10 years in 10 minutes. "And my mother?" She simply cried quietly. Not because of the wedding, because the truth had finally come out. Emily turned toward me with pure hatred in her eyes. "You ruined my life." For years, that sentence would have broken me. But not anymore. I took a slow breath, then calmly answered, "No, Emily. You ruined your own life the moment you confused kindness with weakness." The room went dead silent again. Ryan closed the envelope carefully. Then, without another word, he placed the engagement ring on the wedding table beside the cake and walked away. His groomsmen followed immediately, one by one, until Emily was left standing alone in the center of the ballroom wearing a $1 million dress, with nobody beside her. Guests started leaving quietly. Tables emptied. The violin music had stopped long ago. Even the photographers lowered their cameras. Because there was no wedding left to photograph. Emily suddenly screamed across the room, "Don't walk away from me!" But people kept walking. Her perfect fairy tale was collapsing in real time. And for once, nobody rushed to save her. A few minutes later, I quietly grabbed my purse and headed toward the exit. Still sitting beside the kitchen doors was that small metal folding chair. The seat meant to humiliate me. I looked at it for a second, then smiled softly. Because funny enough, that chair became the best thing that ever happened to me. If they had seated me at the family table, the truth would have stayed hidden forever. As I reached the lobby, I heard footsteps behind me. It was my mother. Weak, emotional, but smiling through tears. She held my hand tightly. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "For every time I let them treat you like you mattered less." I broke down crying instantly. Because that apology, it healed something inside me that years of silence had destroyed. 6 months later, Ryan exposed the stolen money publicly and canceled every joint account connected to Emily. The wedding venue sued her for unpaid luxury upgrades she secretly added. Most of her friends disappeared overnight. Turns out, people love fake queens only while the money is flowing. As for me, I finally started living for myself. I left my exhausting second job, started my own small design business, and for the first time in years, I felt peaceful. Last month, my mother came to visit my new apartment. She looked around proudly and smiled. Then she said something I'll never forget. "Claire, you were never the backup daughter. You were the one holding everyone together." And honestly, that meant more to me than any seat at any wedding ever could.